Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's your meme of the day brought to you by Hivemind.com. You know, I'm sick of the double standards. And my frustration, I think, is mostly targeted towards the mainstream media, because every other week is a constant fake crisis, right? The Russia hoax, the sham impeachments, the Doge constitutional crisis, the Trump indictments. It's never ending. Even now, they're trying to manufacture something by misrepresenting the Epstein files. But meanwhile, you have real frickin' scandals that are staring them right in the face, and they just pretend as if they don't exist. It's the double standard and the purposeful blind spots, the partisan blind spots, that drive me frickin' mad. And now, of course, it's happening once again as massive Democrat scandals are on the verge of being exposed here, and the leftist lamestream media hasn't mentioned them even a bit. No, they're more focused on advancing Democrat talking points, like misrepresenting the money headed towards Argentina and using that as a premise to blackmail Republicans into further subsidies for failing Obamacare. Anyways, we got some scandals brewing here, but before we get into any of it, this video is actually brought to you guys by a sponsor, so let's first play that clip. This video is brought to you guys by American Hartford Gold. Donald Trump is back in the White House, and America is on track to make the biggest economic revival in history. The economy is likely to surge, investment is pouring in, and confidence is returning. And in times like these, it's important to invest properly, and that, my friends, is where American Hartford Gold steps in. Because as we all know, one of the best ways to protect your wealth is by investing in precious metals, that's gold and silver. And friends, American Hartford Gold is simply the best in the business when it comes to protecting you from economic downturns. They have 5-star ratings across the board with an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. In other words, they're a market leader in the space, helping Americans lock in their financial security by diversifying into real tangible assets. And I know that sounds good, but trust me, it gets even better. All you gotta do is give them a call and they'll send physical gold and silver straight to your doorstep, or they can help you add it to your IRA or 401k. Zero hassle, just smart investing. Actually, it gets even better because American Hartford Gold is currently running a special right now where you could get up to $15,000 in free silver on qualifying purchases. So what are you guys waiting for? Sure, things look like they're on the up and up right now, but history tells you it doesn't last forever. The incompetent buffoons will at some point bring on hard times, and you gotta protect yourself. And so to get that process started, all you gotta do is call 844-440-1005. That's 844-440-1005, or text Hivemind, that's Hivemind one word, to 65532. Again, text Hivemind to 65532, and they'll get you guys set on the right track. A huge thank you to American Hartford Gold. Now back to the video. All right, folks, so it seems like an absolute bombshell is about to drop. We got this reporting here from Just the News. AG Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel are supposedly briefing Congress on documents tied to the Clinton Foundation. There's supposedly evidence of donations from foreign and domestic interests that were explicitly giving the Clinton Foundation money and expecting American policy influence in return.
I was listening to the speech you had from the minority leader from Jeffries earlier, and one of the things that he said there, it made me think that he's in some kind of alternate universe. You know, he talked about the partisan Republican spending bill. I'm going, partisan Republican spending bill. This is a continuing resolution that the Democrats have voted for over and over multiple times. This has no poison pills, no policy. This is a clean CR. They don't get any cleaner than this. And somehow he's turned the policy that happened under the Democrats and President Biden, he's turned that into a partisan Republican spending bill. He must be living in an alternate universe, because this is a simple, clean extension of status quo, of keeping the government open so that we have our military being paid, so we have SNAP and WIC payments going through, that we have, you know, NFIP for developers trying to sell projects in floodplains so that they can get their, you know, flood insurance. All of the things that matter there, the USDA, there's so many programs that Montanans, that Americans depend on, and they're playing games with the American people in this alternate universe that Jeffrey seems to be in, saying that this is a partisan Republican spending bill, and there could not possibly be anything less partisan than this bill that's out there right now.
But wait a second, I thought that was a conspiracy theory. I thought the Clinton Foundation only did good, honest, philanthropic work. You know, we've been saying it forever that's the classic Clinton model. It's what the Bidens were essentially trying to mimic, basically selling preferential policy treatment to the highest bidder. That's illegal. That's called taking a bribe while holding a powerful position in American government. And apparently it's not just the Clintons that are about to get exposed. Again, the Biden Burisma scandal seems to be coming back. Here's the latest report from Jesse Waters at Fox News.
We're learning what's in the Biden bribe document that the FBI has been trying to hide. And the allegation inside this document is explosive. Sources familiar with the document tell Fox News Digital that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were paid $10 million in bribes by Ukraine. This was while Joe Biden was vice president. A highly credible confidential source had multiple meetings and conversations with a top executive at Burisma, the Ukrainian gas company where Hunter worked. And these conversations stretched for 5 years. And the source told the FBI about these conversations in June 2020. That's right as Joe Biden was wrapping up the Democrat nomination. The Burisma executive told the FBI's confidential source that Burisma had to pay the Bidens for help getting rid of the Ukrainian prosecutor who was investigating Burisma for corruption.
Again, wasn't that just a right-wing talking point, a conspiracy theory? And on that story in particular, it was less of a media blind spot and more of them actively aiding and abetting in Joe Biden's defense. Social media companies also, on the behalf of American three-letter agencies, censoring the initial evidence drop, the Hunter Biden laptop, that essentially corroborated a lot of this stuff. Now we're learning that potentially there's evidence showing that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden took $5 million each, not while Joe Biden was out of office, but while he was vice president. They're running frickin' rackets, and nobody seems to care, yet we're being lectured by these friggin' idiots every single day on Donald Trump is the most corrupt president ever, blah, blah, blah. It's the same pattern over and over again, but it's also a pattern that the left hopes that you never actually connect. Their constant misrepresentation of the facts, but most importantly, their greatest tool, the omission of the facts. They never paid no mind to the Steele dossier. No, they propped it up. They bought it hook, line, and sinker. They pushed it. They promoted it. And then once the whole thing started blowing up in their faces, and especially in Hillary Clinton's face, they just stopped. All of a sudden, it was Steele who? Christopher Steele who? I don't know. Never heard of him. It's lying by omission, not having to correct the record. And now they want you focused on all of these fake crises involving the president, these phony frickin' scandals. But the only scandals that I see, the only scandals worth looking into are the ones the media never seems to look into. It's fascinating, really. Hunter Biden and Joe Biden bribery? Well, I don't know. How did Joe Biden end up a multi frickin' millionaire off a congressional salary? Hard to say. The Hillary Clinton Foundation and all their myriad of scandals don't exist. The Steele dossier, a literal attempted coup. The Hillary Clinton campaign directly funding it, being involved in undoing the 2016 election. Never happened. The January 6th psyop. Ooh, it was an insurrection. Nancy Pelosi had nothing to do with setting up the premise. It's time after time after time. And really what I just listed there, that just scratches the surface. We're talking about some of the biggest corruption scandals in modern American history that the media just seems to miss. You know, all the top journalists from the top schools, the people with all the accolades and the titles, they always seem to miss the most important stories. They seem to misrepresent the most important stories, to twist them when they're not busy twisting the facts aimed at delegitimizing President Trump. You know, like the BBC that's currently being sued by President Trump after blatantly editing his statements.
The president has made it very clear that this is a leftist propaganda machine that is unfortunately subsidized by British taxpayers, and he thinks that's extremely unfortunate for the great people of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. And I think that the president was deeply concerned by the editing, the purposeful and dishonest editing of his speech that was so clearly fake news. And he rightfully dubbed that term many years ago. And this is a classic example of that. We see it in the United States all the time. We see it now in the United Kingdom. As you know, the president's external legal counsel has filed a lawsuit against the BBC. We expect that to continue. And whether they apologize or not is up to them.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. But I said, something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. Can't have happened. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Our exciting adventures and boldest endeavors have not yet begun.
It's a frickin' racket, folks. The media's running a racket, these Democrat politicians, and some uniparty Republicans as well. They're running corruption rackets, and that should be at the top of the news docket, not the Democrats' latest fake news play relating to the Epstein files. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.